introduce our first speaker of the second session this morning, Otoguro from Warsaw University in Tokyo, and his co-author is not here, these are the Snijders, on the syntactic, semantic and information structures of floating quantifiers.
Okay, thanks. Right, the data we're going to discuss in this talk are given one, so-called floating quantifiers. So the common properties across those different examples is that the quantifiers all appears outside of noun phrase. So take an English example 1A, all appears at the edge of the verb phrase. So all finish the assignment, and but semantically this all modifies the noun phrase as students. So the similar kind of floating quantifiers can be observed in other languages like French in 1B, German in 1C, and Japanese in 1D. So the issue here is to identify the locations of those floating quantifiers in a phrase structure, and also how to relate those floating quantifiers semantically to the modified noun. So those are the issues we must resolve. And in transformation analysis, one of the common or popular approaches is so-called surrounding analysis. So the basic idea is that the quantifier and the modified noun form a single unit, single constituent, and they appear, say for example in here, they appear at the spec DP position, and only the part of the DP moves up to the front, so the students moves to the spec IP position as a subject, leaving all the quantifier behind. So the resultant structure we get subject, verb, and quantifier appearing at the edge of the verb phrase. So this is so-called surrounding analysis, which is not available in LFG or HPSG without any transformation anyway. And another well-known approach is called VP modifier analysis. In this type of analysis, we do not form a constraint. The noun phrase and quantifier do not form a constraint, so they are separated from the beginning. So the quantifier appears the VP modifier position, adjunct position, and then subject appear in the spec IP from the beginning. So in this kind of approach, we need to make sure that the quantifier really modifies the subject noun in some ways, at some level, but not in the syntax level. Right. And HPS analysis by Kim and Kim also adopt this kind of approach. And third type, this is a proposal specifically for French quantifiers by Abel and Godard. They divide the quantifiers into two types. The first one is a post-verbal quantifier here that is a complement of the verb. So we get the verb and quantifier and object, the noun all under the VP mode. Whereas the pre-verbal quantifier is treated as a sort of X0 adjunction. So Q adjoined to the verb, lexical verb head, and constitute a kind of complex lexical head. So this is a kind of approach HPSG analysis by Abel and Godard. So we basically, in this paper, we adopt VP modifier analysis, the second type. But in particular instance of the floating quantifier, we adopt this complement approach. I will explain that later. So to justify our approach, let me first introduce some of the counter-argument against surrounding analysis. Right, the first argument comes from the fact that the sentence with a floating quantifier does not always have a corresponding sentence with a non-floating quantifiers. So if you think about examples in French like 5, the quantifier appears at the VP edge each. So if the surrounding analysis were correct, we'd expect to have something like 5B. Okay? So each comes before the noun phrase, each is children, but that's out, that's ungrammatically in French. And similarly in English, 6A is the example with a floating quantifier, so all appears at the VP edge, but we can't say all of John, Bill, and Tom came to the class. So we can't derive something like all of John, Bill, and Tom. We can't derive 6A from 6B. So that's the issue. So we need to treat them separately in a sense. And the second piece of evidence comes from the fact that some languages like Dutch and Mandarin Chinese, those languages have different lexical items depending on whether it's floating quantifiers or non-floating quantifier. So in 7, that's a Dutch example, if the quantifier appears inside the noun phrase, then we need an entry like array. But if we float this quantifier, it must be a lemma, a different lexical item. So they are basically unrelated in a sense. Okay. We can't derive, say, setting B from setting A. Okay. And similarly in Chinese, the quantifier inside of the noun phrase, we need two-word quantifier expression here. But if we float, we need a different item here. Okay? So again, we can't derive something like 8b from 8a. So that's a strong evidence, counter argument against surrounding analysis. Right. So we basically adopt BP modifier analysis, but there are some issues to be resolved still. The first one is obviously the floating quantifier semantically modifies the head noun, the noun. So we need to relate those two elements in some way, not in syntax, but in some other places. And the second point, the floating quantifiers can appear occasionally in BP internal positions. So under very limited, restricted, or specific type of constructions. So if you look at 9, that's a double object construction. So I give the kids each a quarter. So each, the quantifier appears between the primary object, the kids, and the secondary object, the quarter. So obviously this probably cannot be regarded as a BPH. So we must allow quantifier to be a complement of verb some way. And similarly in 9b, that's another ditransitive construction. We get a object, verb, object, noun phrase, a book, and oblique goal or locative argument on the proper shelf. And then we get a quantifier in between. Okay, all the balls which can appear between those two noun phrases or propositional phrases. And similar fact can be observed in Dutch. So 10a, both A can appear between the dialect object and prepositional phrase. And another typical example is a secondary predicate. So in 10b, I find the language beautiful, and then we can insert floating quantifier all between the object and secondary predicate. So under those specific conditions, we need to allow floating quantifiers to appear as a complement of the verb. So this is a fact we need to capture. And final issue we need to resolve is the agreement. So as we've already looked at in 1, in something like some languages like French and German, we can see the agreement between the floating quantifiers and the head noun. So here in French, all is in the feminine plural form because it agrees with the subject there. And also in German, the quantifier is in dative plural form because the agreement controller is a dative plural noun phrase. So we have some kind of distant agreement here, so we need to capture this agreement fact somewhere or somewhere. Right. So the proposal we make is the information structure. Information structure is the key factor to determine the positions of floating quantifiers, and then the basic proposal is that the noun phrase, which is modified by the quantifier, is a reference-oriented topic expression. So it's normally that kind of expression is located sentence initial or clause initial position. And then the quantifier functions as a focus, and that introduces a comment in the information structure. So schematically, we get a structure like 11a. So topic, this is a noun phrase, quantified noun phrase, followed by the comment, and the beginning of the comment is a focus constraint. That's the quantifier. And then following constraint is the background. So we have a topic comment structure inside the comment, focus background is included. So that's the basic template, kind of typical template involving reference-oriented topic expression. So the syntax is aligned, the syntax is constructed as transparent as possible to correspond to this information structure. So the syntax would be like 11b. That's the most transparent or isomorphic syntax structure corresponding to the information structure. So the topic is a noun phrase, well, typically the subject, clause initial subject, and followed by the comment structure. And edge of the comment is a focus, so that's the QP, quantifier, floating quantifier. and that's adjoined to the verb phrase. And the following verb phrase is a background. So if we get this kind of syntactic structure, that's very transparent, and that's very simple correspondence. We can get a simple correspondence between the information structure organization and phrase structure organization. So let me just illustrate some of the examples in English and Dutch. So in 12a, A is the representation of the information structure. So we get the initial topic, reference-oriented topic expression, the students, and then quantifier appears at the edge of the BP, that's a focus. And then followed by the BP phrase, finish the assignment, that's the background. So the most salient isomorphic structure is 12b. So the students appears in the spec IP position as a subject, and then quantifier appears the adjunct position for the BP, and then BP follows the quantifier. And similar in Dutch, okay? I don't probably need to explain that. But we need another pattern. We have another pattern, which is BP internal quantifiers. So what's going on there? Right, we assume that within the BP, we can have a similar kind of top comment structure. So schematically, we can represent the sentence like I gave the kids each a quarter as in 14a. So we have BP phrase, gave the kids each a quarter. Within the BP, the first initial primary object is a topic. That's a reference-oriented topic expression, followed by the comment structure. Within the comment, first complement, each, is the focus, and following second complement is the background. Right. So if we translate, or if we make this information structure into a simple phrase structure, then we get something like 14b. So within the verb phrase, first object is the NP. That corresponds to topic. And then followed by the focus, each, and then a background, NP, a quarter. And crucially, the difference between the BP modifier analysis and this BP complement analysis is that the focus and background do not form a syntactic constraint. So they all are under the same verb phrase. So they are all complements. But still, we have a sort of alignment of topic, focus, and background structure here. And similarly, in secondary representation, like 15a and b, we have primary object, and then focus, quantifier, and then background, which is an adjective, secondary predicate. And if we translate this kind of information structure into phrase structure, we get something like 15b. So under the BP node, we have a first topic, noun phrase, and quantifier, and secondary predicate. Right. Right, so we need to prove that they are really topic, and topic comment structure is involved. So let me point out some of the facts about those sentences involving floating quantifiers. The first one is the fact that the non-finite, indefinite NP cannot appear in this type of construction. So if you look at the contrast between 16a and 16b, 16a, where we get a definite noun phrase, that's fine. The children all visit London, that's perfectly fine. But if we put indefinite noun phrase here, children all visit London, that's pretty odd. That's illicit. So the reason is that the indefinite noun phrase cannot be a referent-oriented topic phrase, topic expression, because there's no referent in the world. Whereas the definite NP, it easily be a referent expression. So we can see the contrast here. That kind of tell us that the subject NP with the quantifier is kind of topic that requires some kind of reference in the discourse. And typically, it's possible to put indefinite NP with a floating quantifier like 17. That's a Dutch example. But in that case, the following background must be some kind of generic statement about the subject. So here we say, children all enjoy the film. So we're talking about all different kinds of children. So we have a referent in a sense. Children, well, all the kind of children, and this is generic property. In that particular case, we can accept this floating quantifiers because we have a referent. So in a sense, although this is indefinite, it's a topic in a discourse structure, in information structure. Right. So that kind of tells us that the topic status of the front-end noun phrase. And the second piece of evidence comes from the Japanese Japanese. So in Japanese, the preverbal position is the focus position, focus sort. And particularly when you have a NP with a dative particle ni or additive particle color, it's very hard to interpret them as topic. So the default interpretation for those NPs are focus. So something like 18a, it's very hard to insert the floating quantifier between the dative mark noun phrase and the verb, because this is a focus. It's very hard, it's very hard to make this interpret it as a topic. So you cannot establish topic, focus, background structure because of this dative marks NP. But Japanese has a way to make, Japanese has a strategy to change the noun phrase into a topic by adding over the morphological topic marker. That's wa. That's a contrastive topic marker. So if you attach wa, morphological marking, to this dative marking noun phrase, then we can change this focus noun phrase into contrastive topic. Then the quantifier can appear. So because this can be interpreted as a topic, so we have a nice topic comment or topic focus background structure here. That's why we get this focus floating quantifier between the noun phrase and the following background and the verb phrase. The same fact for the other particle, the ablative particle. Okay? So 18C is out because this must be a focus, but 18D is okay because the topic marker makes this noun phrase as a topic. Right. Third, manner adverbs, which are by default give a focus interpretation, cannot appear before the floating quantifier because they kind of occupy the focus slot. So the floating quantifier cannot be a focus because of the presence of the manner adverbs. So if you look at 19a, again the Japanese example, loudly is a manner adverb. So it's by default it is interpreted as a focus. So following floating quantifier cannot be interpreted as a focus. So it in a sense it occupies the focus slot. So the quantifier cannot appear as a focus in the structure. So this is out. But other adverbs like locative adverbs, which are not focus adverbs, then quantifiers can appear happily in between. So we have an office, okay, locative phrase office, too, and then we can easily put quantifier between the locative adverb and the verb because the focus position is still available. So the quantifier can become a focus and the subject to the topic, so topic, focus, and background can be established. And a similar fact can be observed in English and other languages too. So Walik observes that where we have a manner adverb like completely, we cannot have a floating quantifier like all. So 20a is out. But we have a sentential adverb like certainly, that's perfectly fine because still the focus slot is available. Okay? So certainly does not occupy the focus slot. So all can appear here as a focus. So you can establish the topic, focus, background structure. And similar fact can be observed in Spanish too. Okay? Right. So we're going to present analysis in LFG analysis for this phenomenon. Right. We adopt the kind of information structure which often assumed in LFG literature. So we assume 4 different information structure roles: focus, a topic, focus, background, and completed in information structure. And each item, lexical item, has unspecified DF values in its entry. So semantic structure feature DS is unspecified at the point in the lexical, but when it's used in a sentence, the value of the DF is determined by some ways. That's the kind of assumption Dario Grueva did in 2001 book. So it can be determined by the phrase structure position, or it can be determined by the prosody, or it can be determined by the morphological marking like Japanese. So there are various ways to determine the value of the DF, but they are unspecified in the lexicon, but that will be determined in the syntax in some way. And then once DF is specified, we can decide the membership of the topic focus and background completed in an information structure. So let me just give you one simple example taken from Nicolai's book. So suppose we have a context like what did John do? So this is a question, and answer must be like John married Rosa. In this answer, John is a topic, and married Rosa is a focus. So C structure. Spec IP position is a subject position, but optionally it can be a topic position. Okay, so John is a topic. Okay, so DF is specified as a topic here. Okay, and then the Mari and Rosa are both focus, but that cannot be determined by the phrase structure position. There are some other ways like prosody or some discourse context. But anyway, the DF is specified as a focus in both of those Mari and Rosa. So we get F structure in 24 and S structure in 25. So this S sigma corresponds to the subject, John. So the DF value of John is a topic. Okay? So this is a topic phrase. And then the married corresponds to this M sigma. Again, DF value is a focus. And object Rosa is also focus. So by this equation, married is a member of focus in the information structure and so forth. We get an information structure like 26. So the topic has a member, John, a single member, and the focus has two members, married Rosa. So that's the representation of topic and focus. So that matches the topic focus structure as we looked at in the initial example. So we present the phrase structure analysis for those determination of the F values in S structure. So first, let's talk about BP adjunction floating quantifiers. So under the BP, we have a floating quantifier that has quantifier phrase. That's an adjunct, so that's a member of adjunct in F structure, and then we get a BP. Then, because this is a floating quantifier, it must be a focus. So this value of DF is determined in the phrase structure as focus. And then because this is a focus, the following part, following a joint BP, becomes a background. So those values are determined by the phrase structure. Obviously the prosody comes in too, so probably the prosody prominence probably placed in the DP too. But in principle, we can decide the DF values, information structure values in the phrase structure. Right. So then we need the entry for the quantifiers. Right, so this is a Japanese floating quantifier, all. So we have semantic representation. Because it's a quantifier, we adopt the standard entry semantic representations for the quantifiers, which are proposed in Darling letter of 1997 or Darling 2001. And the one crucial point we like to propose in this entry is the local name T here. So we need to identify the target of the quantification or target of the modification. So we need to allow this quantifier modify the topic noun phrase. So we need to specify that. So we introduce this local name T, and the specification of the GF of the local name is given below. So because this all is a sentential adverb, right? So this is a BP adjunction. So this is a sentential verb phrase adjunct. We need to get out from the adjunct, and then we need to find some kind of GF whose DF value is a topic in the F structure. So we need an off-pass constraint here. So this DF can be subject or object or any other things, but whose value in the S structure, the value of the DF in the F structure must be topic. That, by this way, we can identify the target of the modification here. Right, so this is the illustration. Okay, so subject. This is a Japanese example. So the topic is overtly marked by the morphological marker Y. And then we have focus in a BP adjunction position. And then following BP is a background. Okay. And then we get F structure. Crucially, this all is a sentential adverb, not inside of the child. But because of the semantic specification, this all in semantic structure or glue semantics can modify to quantify this child because this is a topic. So variation of the DF is giving 31. So this S corresponds to the subject, is a topic, and then this A corresponds to this adjunct, is a focus, and remaining part is a background. So we get information structure like 32. So children is the topic, all quantifier is a focus, and remaining part is the background. Okay, so this is how the modification, quantification works. And then the next one is the BP internal floating quantifiers. So we need another rule which allows the quantifiers to be a complement of the verb. So we need this BP rule. The last one can be NP or any other various sort of things. I just take one example, the oblique prepositional phrase. But the crucial point is that this quantifier phrase can appear as a complement of verb, and it's given this specification, the focus. Okay? And then the preceding noun phrase is a topic, and following prepositional phrase here is a background. Okay? Then we get a phrase structure like this one. So, okay, under the BP node, we get 3 different items. So topic, NP, primary object, focus quantifier, that's focus, and remaining PP, oblique argument, that's a background. We get a structure like this one. Again, the quantifier is a sentential adjunct, so this is placed in here. And then a variation of the DF values in S structure is given 37. So the primary object is topic, quantifier is a focus, and remaining one is a background. We're not sure about preceding elements like merely put. We provisionally put them in a completive, so I just evaluate those 2 elements as a completive. Then we get an I structure, information structure like 38. So we have a topic, the book, focus all, and the background is shelf, and the preceding element is a completive. Okay. Right, the final point we need to resolve is agreement. Right. And basically, as Fitzpatrick points out, we have a lot of examples where the adjective agrees with the head noun distantly. So for example, if you think about a secondary predicate, like 39 in Spanish and 40 in Russian, quite often the secondary predicate, the adjective, agrees with the head noun, distant subject noun. So this drunk is the feminine singular because it agrees with the subject, but obviously it's not inside of the noun phrase. And similarly in 39, when we get a plural subject, the secondary predicate or adjective must in the feminine plural form. And similarly in Russian, the healthy agrees with the head subject noun, so it's in the nominative form. And this time the raw, it agrees with the object noun, fish. That's why this adjective in accusative form. Okay, so it's not surprising to see that the adjective agrees with the noun distantly. And also, Dalrymple, Nikolaieva, and many others talk about topic predicate agreement, right? So the agreement often occurs between the predicate and topic. So 41 are the examples, right? So agreement, we can see the agreement between topic and the predicate. So if we combine those 2 insights, we can argue that the floating quantifiers can agree with a topical noun phrase that quantifies. Okay, so let's look at German example like 42. We get all here, which is in the dative plural form, because the agreement controller is these students, because this is a topic, right? And we already specified this topical noun phrase in the lexical entry when we talk about the quantification, the semantic properties of this quantifier. So we already have a local name T, which is specified as a topic. So what we need is to refer to that the noun phrase by having this local name T. So we need a co-valuation of the case value as T case is a dative and T number is a plural. That's all we need. Okay? So that's how we deal with the agreement. Right, so this is conclusion. So the floating quantifier function is a focus, and that makes the left edge of the comment in the topic comment structure. And the most salient phrase structure configuration consisting of a fronted topic and constraint and followed by the focus, which is a floating quantifier, and which is adjoined to the verb phrase. That's the most isomorphic structure. Right, and floating quantifier can appear BP internally, but only when the topic comment structure is satisfied. And then agreement can be formulated between the topic constraint and the floating quantifier. That's it. Thank you very much.
Frank.
I have a comment and a question. So my comment would be that as you may know, in French and in other Romance languages, the modified DP with a floated quantifier can be a subject, but it can only be an object if it's a phenomenal critic. So it would go with your topic.
Right, topic status.
It cannot be a nominal focus component. My question is, how do you account for the scope difference between the floated and non-floated quantifier? Because in French, for example, tous les enfants ont refusé de venir, all the children refused to come. It doesn't have the same interpretation as les enfants ont refusé de venir tous, or the children refused to come.
Technically, scope must be treated in an S structure. So yeah, there must be some ways. We haven't thought about the non-floating quantifiers, how they scope over the noun phrase and how they scope over the sentence or sentence. Yeah, I don't know. Yes. Yeah, because we have separate entries for the floating quantifiers and non-floating quantifiers, but there must be some sort of different specification of the entry just to get different scope variations between those two types. But at the moment, I don't have any stories about the non-floating quantifiers, but we may be some different specification of the scope that can track with the rest of the sentence.
The observation you had about the position of the manner adverb, it may be due to the scope property. The quantifier wants to have scope over the manner adverb, that's why you then propose the manner adverb. I'm not sure it tells you anything about the focus status. But.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't thought about the interaction between the two different scopes, so yeah, we'll think about it. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was a very clear presentation. I have one question about Dutch data and another one about your analysis. Starting with the one on the analysis, if you could take number 27. Yeah, this one. So here you have the floating quantifier joining to the VP. This is a recursive rule. Is that something that you want? Can you attach more than one such floating quantifier?
Technically we could, but that would be the resultant structure would be informed in terms of the information structure, because we end up with having more embedding. So we attach another quantifier here. Then what we get is so the background consists of focus and background. That be informed in information structure. So I think that will be excluded.
Okay, so there is an independent constraint excluded.
Yeah, that's a well-formedness in the information structure. That's, the background cannot consist of focus. Yeah.
Okay. And then about the data, so at some point you mentioned that in Dutch you can have a bare plural and then combined with allemaal.
Yeah.
I think that was number 17. Kinderen genieten allemaal van de film.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. That's true. I mean, that's grammatical in Dutch. But if you replace it by another floating quantifier like allebei, so both, would that be? It's no longer okay. So kinderen genieten allebei van de film would not be.
Yeah, because we are talking about all the different children, not only two children.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is a generic statement about children. So we need to refer to all the different children possibly in the world. So if we read the both, we need to specify two specific individuals, and that obviously can occur with the indefinite noun phrase. I think that's the reason why we have it.
Thank you.
English has examples which I guess you would call floating quantifier sentences, in which the quantifier is followed by preposition of plus pronoun. We have all of us been to Warsaw, that sort of thing. So I'm wondering whether it would be a simple matter to extend your analysis to that sort of example, And I also wonder about the fact that in English you can have none with that second sort of construction. We've none of us been to Warsaw, but you can't have none on its own. We have none been to Warsaw. So I mean, I imagine that might be a bit tricky.
I don't know whether we can apply the similar kind of analysis to those data. We need to look at the distribution. If this, say, something like all of us can behave exactly like, say, all, sure, you can apply the same kind of principle to that kind of examples. But yeah, if they behave differently, say, if their distribution will be different, then we might think about different kind of structures. At the moment, I need to look through data distributions and decide whether the similar principle can be applied or not. For the second one, none. Well, there are some idiosyncratic lexical selections. What kind of quantifiers can float or not? Say something like Japanese, we basically can float any kind of quantifiers. And while English has some kind of very restricted number of quantifiers can float, so we can't say float numerals like 2 or 3. Okay? But we probably all those are the kind of typical floating quantifiers. There must be some language idiosyncratic restrictions on selections of the floating quantifiers. Okay.
So I have a technical question. Go back to 27. What's an analogy technical to rule? So that looks odd to me that you have up sigma df equals focus and up sigma df equals background. Mm-hmm. Should those be down sigmas?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much. That's a technical mistake. Yeah.
I think in the other ones too.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, just a small comprehension question. What is this completive? And on page, whatever it is, the example 35, 38, and what are your reasons for not putting the put or like this pre-focus material in the background? I mean, these are related, so what's the completive thing?
Yeah,
I just don't know the theory, so.
Yeah, there's no principal reasons to put them in completive. We just thought, so we are thinking about this nice templatic information structure. So topic comes initially, followed by, topic comes an initial position and followed by the focus background structure. So if we, stick this templatic differentiation of information structure, something comes before the topic may not be the part of this, one simple information structure. It may be something outside of this information structure. That's why we put them in the completive. But technically it's possible to put them in the topic or put them in the background. But it's simply, we can't decide. We couldn't decide whether they are in the background or not. We just simply put them in the completive because they're outside of this frame.
I'd like to ask about number 19b, just Japanese data.
19b.
19b. 学生がオフィスに2人来た。So office is a topic in this structure?
No. 学生が is a topic.
All right. But it is marked with God, not war.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you say that Sega is topic?
So you're saying that the topic in Japanese must be marked by what? I wouldn't take that position. I mean, well, there are tons of examples where the GAR-marked subject can be a topic or marked object can be a topic. I don't see any reason to add wa obligatorily to the topic constituent in Japanese.
Right. So how do you define topic?
Oh, okay. So as I said, there are many strategies to define the direct values in the structure. So so it can be, it can positive. It can, it can be an interaction between the floating quantifiers and the preceding elements. So once you get a floating quantifier, we get a focus there and backgrounds after that. Then what we need to have is a topic before that. So that kind of interaction with the other elements and phrase structure and possibly prosody would determine the topic status of the preceding noun phrase. So it's not all about morphology, it's interaction with them.
Right. So if there is a quantifier, whatever before that is a topic. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I think sentence 19b can be used as a response to a question like, what kind of people came to the office? So in which case, the subject noun phrase looks like a focus.
What kind of people came to the office?
And the quantifier is okay there.
What kind of people came to the office? The implication underlying the question is the types of people, and that's the focus part. And the quantifier is the focus part in the response. Isn't it? So what kind of people came to the office? So in that situation, we have a sort of set of possible, individuals who came to the office. And then we specify the type of the people in the answer. So I don't see any problem with that. So I don't think that in that situation the subject Gakuseiga has a focus.
Time for a very quick one. You've got about half a minute left.
Well, I thought 19b can be an answer to the question like, what happened? So what happened to students came to the office? Well, as far as Japanese is concerned, it's okay. What do you think so?
I don't know. I would say I wouldn't float the quantifier in that important question, but some might. But I couldn't tell whether it's
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.